Alright, so the topic for my TED Talk is climate change, more specifically the dangers of climate change we're facing today and likely to face in the future, and why the government is moving very slowly to do anything about it. So first I'm going to talk about a couple of the dangers of climate change. So pictured here is a scene from Winter Storm Atlas, which occurred last year. I don't know if you heard about it, but it dumped obscene amounts of snow across areas of the U.S. In 2013, a number of scientists proved a connection between climate change and greatly intensified weather events such as droughts, hurricanes, and winter storms like this. And this trend is likely to continue, leading to billions of dollars of infrastructure damage as well as a number of casualties in the near future. So the second issue is rising sea levels. As of right now, we are locked into 4 feet of sea level rise over the next century or two. This map shows a number of energy facilities that are below 4 feet in elevation, as well as the population that is at risk. So these people will have to move, and we will lose this infrastructure with the possibility to lose even more if climate change is not slowed down soon too. And the third danger, this is a little bit startling. So the circular blue pie chart right there shows all the animals alive in 1974. The one next to it is all the animals that have been killed by human activity in the last 40 years. That's 50% of animals have been killed by human activity in the last 40 years. To put that in perspective, the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs killed 70% of animals. So the meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs only has us beat by a little bit right now. And we're trying really hard to catch up to that, and if we don't put a stop to climate change soon, we will catch up to that, and we are basically in mass extinction. So why are we not doing more about this? It's pretty obvious that there's a lot going wrong, so why isn't the government doing more? Well, the reasons for this are twofold. The first one is majorly economic, and the second one is psychological, and both of these play into why the political process is moving very slowly in the U.S. So what this graph is showing is oil company campaign contributions over the last couple of decades. So you can see, I don't know if you can read those, but they're pretty big numbers, tens of millions of dollars. And industries like Koch Industries and ExxonMobil are contributing all of this money to their favorite political candidates. So the political candidates will run on platforms that will support deregulation of oil industries. And what this will do is allow them to make more money, but it's going to slow down the climate change movement, because one of the major problems is the use of fossil fuels in our everyday lives. So what's happening is these political figures are doing what's being asked of them by their benefactors instead of what the public supporting them are asking them to do. So if they want to get reelected, they need to guarantee these funds at the next election, and that's the only way to do that is to cater to what these oil companies are asking them to do. So nothing is going to be done as far as legislation until these oil companies and other industries can be pulled out of politics, and legislation can be made purely based on what's for the best for the U.S. and increasingly what's best for the world. So moving on to the psychological aspect. So recent psychological studies have found that humans are naturally bullheaded. And what I mean by this is that when humans are faced with an argument contradictory to their own, they're not only not likely to look at that argument, they will disregard completely and hold on to their own views even more strongly than they did before. So what does this mean for the US government? The average age of the American citizen is 38 years old. The average age of a Senate member in America is 62 years old. Senate members grew up in a completely different time than most of American citizens, and that means that they grew up in a different time when climate change was something that was political instead of a scientific fact. So they are going to be very, very slow to change their views, and they won't pass legislation that's going to possibly hurt the economy by limiting oil and forcing businesses to become more energy sufficient, because they don't believe that it's a real thing due to this psychological effect. So basically what needs to happen before any real legislation can be passed is that money needs to be pulled out of politics, and the demographic age of our government needs to become younger, and this can only happen as time goes on. This could take years to decades, and before that happens, a lot more damage is going to be done. So the only option we really have is to put an overwhelming amount of push for climate change from the public, and as more and more people learn these things, I'm hoping that's what can happen. So you need to decide what side you're on and be a part of that change.